Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! The corner office on the top floor of Meridian Enterprises buzzed with activity as Antonella Rossi pored over quarterly reports. Her dark hair was pulled back in a sleek bun, and her crisp white blouse contrasted sharply with her black pencil skirt. She tapped her Mont Blanc pen against the polished mahogany desk, her brow furrowed in concentration. A gentle knock at the door broke her focus. "Come in," she called, not looking up from the papers scattered before her. Her assistant, Emma, stepped inside. "Ms. Rossi, your 3 o'clock is here." Antonella glanced at her watch, surprised by how quickly the afternoon had flown by. "Thank you, Emma. Send them in." As Emma left, Antonella stood and smoothed her skirt, preparing to greet her next appointment. She'd built Meridian Enterprises from the ground up, turning it into one of the most successful tech companies in Silicon Valley. At 38, she was known for her razor-sharp business acumen and unwavering determination. The door opened again, and a tall man in an impeccably tailored suit strode in.
"Ms. Rossi, it's a pleasure to finally meet you in person,"
he said, extending his hand. "Mr. Chen, welcome," Antonella replied, her grip firm as she shook his hand. "Please, have a seat." As they discussed the potential merger between their companies, Antonella felt a familiar sense of exhilaration. This was where she thrived, in the cut and thrust of high-stakes business negotiations. Yet, as the meeting drew to a close, she felt an inexplicable restlessness stirring within her.
"I think we've made excellent progress today,"
Mr. Chen said, rising from his chair.
"I look forward to our teams working out the finer details."
Antonella nodded, escorting him to the door. "Absolutely. We'll be in touch soon." As the door closed behind him, she leaned against it, letting out a long breath. The restlessness intensified, an itch she couldn't quite scratch. She glanced at her watch again. 5:30 p.m. The workday was over, but she felt far from ready to head home to her empty penthouse apartment. On impulse, she grabbed her coat and bag. "Emma, I'm heading out for the evening. See you tomorrow." Her heels clicked against the polished floor of the lobby as she made her way out of the building. The crisp evening air hit her face, and she inhaled deeply, trying to shake off the strange feeling that had been plaguing her all day. Without a clear destination in mind, Antonella began walking. The streets of San Francisco were alive with the energy of people heading home or out for the night. As she turned a corner, a flash of color caught her eye. A poster plastered on a nearby wall advertised a drag show at a local club called the Glitter Palace. The image showed a statuesque queen in a shimmering gown, her makeup bold and beautiful. Antonella found herself drawn to the poster, her fingers tracing the outline of the queen's silhouette. "First time at a drag show, honey?" The voice startled her, and she spun around to find herself face to face with one of the most striking individuals she'd ever seen. The person before her stood well over 6 feet tall in towering heels, wearing a skin-tight red sequined dress that caught the light of the setting sun. Their makeup was flawless, with sharp contours and a perfect winged eyeliner. I've never been," Antonella admitted, feeling suddenly self-conscious in her conservative business attire. The queen's painted lips curved into a warm smile. "Well, darling, there's a first time for everything. I'm Scarlet Fever, and I'm performing tonight. Why don't you come and see what it's all about?" Antonella hesitated, her ingrained caution warring with a sudden, intense curiosity. "I don't know. I'm not really dressed for it. Scarlett laughed, a rich, melodious sound. Honey, the Glitter Palace welcomes everyone, no matter how they're dressed. But between you and me, she leaned in conspiratorially, I think you'd look fabulous in something a little more daring. Before Antonella could respond, Scarlett produced a flyer from her clutch and pressed it into her hand. Show starts at 9. Hope to see you there, sweetie. With a wink and a flourish, Scarlett sashayed away, leaving Antonella standing on the sidewalk, the flyer clutched in her hand. She looked down at it, then back at the poster on the wall. The restlessness that had been gnawing at her all day seemed to crystallize into a decision. Why not? She murmured to herself, her heart racing with an excitement she hadn't felt in years. Antonella hurried home, her mind whirling with possibilities. As she entered her apartment, she headed straight for her closet. Pushing past the rows of tailored suits and conservative dresses, she reached for a garment bag tucked away in the back. With trembling hands, she unzipped it, revealing a shimmering gold cocktail dress she'd bought on a whim years ago, but never had the courage to wear. She held it up against herself, studying her reflection in the full-length mirror. For a moment, she saw not the polished CEO, but a glimpse of someone else. Someone free, uninhibited, glamorous. The thought both thrilled and terrified her. Taking a deep breath, Antonella made her decision. She stripped off her work clothes and slipped into the gold dress. It hugged her curves in a way her usual attire never did, revealing a figure she usually kept hidden under blazers and pencil skirts. She let her hair down from its tight bun, allowing it to fall in soft waves around her shoulders. Then, with a sense of reckless abandon, she approached her seldom-used makeup vanity. Antonella had always been skilled with makeup, but she'd kept it subtle for work. Tonight, she decided, would be different. She applied a smoky eyeshadow, lined her eyes with a dramatic wing, and painted her lips a bold red. As she worked, she felt as though she were bringing to life a part of herself that had long been dormant. Each stroke of the brush was an act of liberation, peeling away layers of expectation and restraint. When she finally stepped back to survey the results, her breath caught in her throat. The woman staring back at her from the mirror was a stranger, beautiful, confident, and utterly captivating. Antonella glanced at the clock. It was nearly 9 p.m. If she was going to do this, it had to be now. She grabbed a small clutch, transferred her essentials from her work bag, and headed out. The ride to the Glitter Palace was a blur of nervous anticipation. As the cab pulled up to the club, Antonella could hear the pulsing beat of music from inside. A line of people in various states of fabulous dress stretched down the block. For a moment, her courage faltered. What was she doing here? She was about to turn back when she heard a familiar voice. Well, 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 look who decided to join the party. Scarlet Fever appeared beside her, resplendent in a new outfit, a dazzling blue gown that seemed to be made of starlight. I wasn't sure you'd come, Scarlett said, linking her arm through Antonella's. But I'm so glad you did. And look at you. Absolutely gorgeous, darling. Before Antonella could protest, Scarlett was leading her past the line and straight to the entrance. The bouncer, a mountain of a man in a tight black t-shirt, grinned at Scarlett.
New friend, Scarlett?
He asked, his voice a low rumble.
You know me, Tony. Always making new friends.
This is... Scarlett paused, looking at Antonella expectantly. For a split second, Antonella hesitated. Then, in a burst of inspiration, she said, Bella! Call me Bella! Scarlett's eyes twinkled with approval. Bella it is! Come on, honey! Let me show you where the magic happens. As they entered the club, Antonella, now Bella, was overwhelmed by the sights and sounds. The air was thick with excitement and the scent of perfume. On stage, a queen in a massive pink wig was lip-syncing to a pop anthem, her movements so precise and passionate that Bella found herself mesmerized. Scarlett led her to a table near the stage. I've got to go get ready for my number, but you enjoy the show, Bella. And remember, in here, you can be whoever you want to be. As Scarlett disappeared backstage, Bella settled into her seat, her heart racing. She felt exposed, vulnerable, and yet strangely empowered. No one here knew her as Antonella Rossi, CEO. Here, she was just Bella, a woman in a gold dress enjoying a night out. The show was a whirlwind of color, music, and larger-than-life personalities. Bella found herself laughing, cheering, and even singing along as queen after queen took the stage. Each performance was a celebration of self-expression, of pushing boundaries and defying expectations. When Scarlett finally took the stage, Bella was on the edge of her seat. Scarlett's performance was electric, her every movement a testament to years of practice and an innate understanding of how to command an audience. As the number drew to a close, Scarlett locked eyes with Bella, offering her a wink that felt like an invitation to a secret world. After the show, as the club transformed into a dance floor, Scarlett found Bella at the bar. So, what did you think? Scarlett asked, signaling the bartender for 2 drinks. It was incredible, Bella admitted. I've never seen anything like it. Scarlett smiled, a knowing look in her eyes. It's addictive, isn't it? The freedom, the creativity, the sheer joy of transformation. Bella nodded, unable to find the words to express the whirlwind of emotions she was feeling. You know, Scarlett continued, leaning in close, I have a feeling there's a queen inside you, just waiting to come out. Bella's eyes widened. Me? No, I couldn't possibly. Why not? Scarlett challenged gently. Everyone has a persona they show to the world, and one they keep hidden. Drag is about bringing that hidden self to light, celebrating it, reveling in it. As Scarlett spoke, Bella felt something shift inside her. The restlessness that had driven her here began to take shape, to form itself into a longing she'd never allowed herself to acknowledge. I wouldn't even know where to start, Bella said, her voice barely audible over the music. Scarlett's smile widened. Lucky for you, darling. You've got me. If you're serious about exploring this, I'd be happy to show you the ropes. Bella hesitated for only a moment before nodding. Yes, she said, surprising herself with the certainty in her voice. Yes, I'd like that. The next few weeks passed in a blur of glitter, sequins, and late nights. By day, Antonella continued to run Meridian Enterprises with her usual efficiency and drive, but by night, she transformed into Bella, eagerly absorbing everything Scarlett had to teach her about the art of drag. Scarlett's apartment became a second home to her. The walls were lined with wigs of every color and style imaginable, and racks of fabulous costumes filled every available space. It was here that Bella learned the secrets of contouring, the art of walking in 6-inch heels, and the magic of creating an entirely new persona. Drag isn't just about looking like a woman, Scarlett explained one evening as they experimented with different makeup techniques. It's about creating a character, a larger-than-life version of yourself. Bella nodded, carefully applying false eyelashes. I think I understand. It's like stepping into a role, but the role is an extension of who you really are inside. Scarlett beamed at her. Exactly. Now tell me about this queen we're creating. Who is she? Bella paused, considering. Over the past few weeks, she'd felt a new persona emerging, one that combined elements of Antonella's confidence and drive with a flamboyance and sensuality she'd always kept tightly under wraps. She's bold, Bella said slowly. Unapologetic, the kind of woman who commands attention just by walking into a room. But there's a vulnerability there too, a desire to connect. Scarlett nodded encouragingly. And what's her name? Bella thought for a moment, then smiled. Aurora Blaze. Aurora Blaze, Scarlett repeated, savoring the name. I love it. Now, let's make her real. They spent hours that night perfecting Aurora's look. They settled on a long, wavy wig in a deep auburn color that complemented Bella's natural coloring. The makeup was dramatic, smoky eyes, high cheekbones, and lips painted a deep, smoldering red. For Aurora's debut outfit, they chose a slinky black dress with strategically placed cutouts, adorned with crystals that caught the light with every movement. A pair of towering silver heels completed the look. When Bella finally stood before the mirror, fully transformed into Aurora Blaze for the first time, she barely recognized herself. The woman staring back at her exuded a confidence and sensuality that both thrilled and terrified her. Well? Scarlett asked, standing beside her with an expectant smile. I don't know what to say, Bella breathed. Is that really me? Scarlett squeezed her shoulder. That's Aurora, darling, and she's magnificent. Over the next few months, Bella's double life became increasingly complex. By day, she continued to excel as Antonella, closing deals and driving Meridian Enterprises to new heights. But her nights and weekends were devoted to Aurora. She began performing at amateur nights at the Glitter Palace, each appearance helping her grow more confident in her drag persona. Aurora quickly became known for her smoldering performances to torch songs, her ability to convey deep emotion through subtle gestures and expressions. As Aurora's popularity grew, so did the challenges of maintaining her double life. Bella found herself constantly juggling her responsibilities as Antonella with her growing passion for drag. She started keeping a change of clothes and makeup in her office, often transforming into Aurora in the executive bathroom after everyone else had gone home. One evening, as Bella was preparing for a performance, her phone buzzed with a message from Emma, her assistant. Ms. Rozzi, the board is calling an emergency meeting tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. They're concerned about the Chen merger. Bella's heart sank. She was scheduled to perform at 1 a.m. There was no way she'd be able to do the show and be fresh for a 7 a.m. meeting. For a moment, she considered canceling the performance, but the thought filled her with an unexpected sense of loss. Everything okay? Scarlett asked, noticing Bella's frown. Bella explained the situation, feeling torn between her two worlds. Scarlett listened sympathetically, then said, You know, it doesn't have to be either or. Why not both? Both? Bella echoed, confused. Yes, both, Scarlett insisted. Do your show tonight. Be Aurora Blaze in all her glory. Then, when it's over, go home, get a few hours of sleep, and knock 'em dead at that board meeting. You're a powerhouse, darling. You can do both. Bella considered this. The idea of trying to balance both lives seemed daunting, but the alternative, giving up either part of herself, felt impossible. "You're right," she said finally. "I can do this." That night, Aurora Blaze gave one of her most passionate performances yet. As she sang "The Man That Got Away," her voice filled with raw emotion, she felt as though she were telling the story of her own journey, the story of a woman who had discovered a part of herself she never knew existed. The audience was on their feet as she finished, the applause thunderous. As Aurora took her final bow, Bella felt a sense of completion she'd never experienced before. After the show, she rushed home, allowing herself only a few hours of sleep before transforming back into Antonella for the board meeting. As she strode into the conference room at 6:55 a.m., not a hair out of place, she carried with her the confidence of Aurora Blaze. The meeting was intense, with board members grilling her about every aspect of the Chen merger. But Antonella was unflappable, addressing each concern with the precision of a CEO and the charisma of a drag queen. As the meeting concluded, with the board unanimously backing her decision on the merger, Antonella realized something profound. Aurora wasn't just a character she played. She was a part of who Antonella truly was. The confidence, the passion, the ability to command a room. These were traits that belonged to both Antonella and Aurora. In the weeks that followed, Antonella found a new balance in her life. She continued to excel in the boardroom, but now she approached her work with a newfound creativity and flair. Her presentations became more dynamic, her negotiations more nuanced. She even began to incorporate more color into her work wardrobe, small nods to Aurora that made her smile every time she caught her reflection. At night, Aurora Blaze continued to dazzle audiences at the Glitter Palace, but now her performances were infused with the strategic mind of Antonella, each movement and gesture carefully calculated for maximum impact. One evening, as Aurora was preparing for her set, Scarlett pulled her aside. "I've got some news, darling," Scarlett said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "The producer of Drag Superstars is going to be in the audience tonight. They're scouting for their next season." Aurora's heart raced. Drag Superstars was the biggest drag competition show in the country. Being cast would mean national exposure and the potential for her two worlds to collide in a very public way. Wow, Aurora said, her mind whirling. "That's incredible." Scarlett squeezed her hand. "You've got this, Aurora. Just go out there and be your fabulous self." As Aurora took the stage that night, she felt the weight of the moment. This could be a turning point, not just for Aurora Blaze, but for Antonella Rossi as well. As the music started, she took a deep breath and let herself become fully present in the performance. She sang "I Am What I Am" from La Cage aux Folles, every word resonating deeply with her journey. As she belted out the final notes, she felt a sense of liberation unlike anything she'd ever experienced. In that moment, she was neither Antonella nor Aurora. She was simply herself, in all her complexity and contradictions. The audience erupted in applause, giving her a standing ovation. As Aurora took her bows, her eyes scanned the crowd and landed on a woman in a sleek suit, watching her with intense interest. The producer, she realized. Backstage, the producer approached her. "Aurora Blaze?" she said, extending her hand. "I'm Vivian Moore from Drag Superstars. That was quite a performance." "Thank you," Aurora replied, her heart pounding. "We'd love to have you audition for the next season," Vivian continued. "Your presence on stage is remarkable, and I think you'd be a fantastic addition to the show." Aurora's mind raced. This was an incredible opportunity, but it would also mean exposing her drag persona to the world. Could she risk her reputation as Antonella Rossi, CEO of Meridian Enterprises? But as she looked at Vivian, she realized something. The woman wasn't just looking at her with professional interest. There was a glimmer of recognition in her eyes. "Ms. Rossi," Vivian said quietly, "I've admired your work in the tech industry for years. Finding out that you're also this incredible drag performer, well, it only increases my respect for you." Aurora, Antonella, felt a moment of panic, quickly followed by an odd sense of relief. "You knew?" she asked. Vivian nodded. "I've been to enough of your company's product launches to recognize you, even under all that fabulous makeup. Don't worry, your secret is safe with me. But I think you should consider this opportunity. You could be an inspiration to so many people." As Vivian left, Antonella found herself at a crossroads. She could continue living her double life, keeping Antonella and Aurora separate, or she could take this chance to bring her two selves together, to show the world that a person could be both a successful CEO and a fabulous drag queen. The decision, she realized, had already been made. From the moment she'd stepped into the Glitter Palace all those months ago, she'd been on a journey towards integration, towards becoming her full, authentic self. 2 weeks later, Antonella Rossi stood before her board of directors, her heart pounding, but her resolve firm. "I've called this meeting," she began, "because I have an important announcement to make. I've been offered a place on the next season of Drag Superstars, and I've decided to accept." The room erupted in a mixture of gasps and confused murmurs. Antonella held up her hand for silence. "For the past several months, I've been performing as a drag queen under the name Aurora Blaze. This experience has not only brought me personal joy, but has also enhanced my creativity and leadership skills in ways that have directly benefited this company." She paused, looking each board member in the eye. "I understand that this may come as a shock, and that some of you may have concerns about how this could affect our company's image. But I believe that by embracing all aspects of who I am, I can lead Meridian Enterprises to even greater heights. I hope I can count on your support." For a moment, the room was silent. Then, to Antonella's surprise, Emma, her assistant,
Thanks for watching my
stood up
girlies.
and started
Be sure
applauding.
to check out Patreon for more.
One by one,